One of the key questions that need to always be asked before you start selling any product. And remember, I'm more about keeping your money than spending it on something that isn't going to work or a product that you haven't done in-depth research into. And there are certain questions that you really need to ask yourself when you're looking at selling a particular product. But a couple of things that we need to answer is what makes your product different, right? And also, why should I even buy your product? Now, if you can't clearly answer that when you're selecting a product and when you're going through this process, then you probably shouldn't launch it, right? So Amazon can be pretty ruthless sometimes in terms of the amount of competition that you have, right? You go and you put in a keyword into Amazon, it could be any product, and you'll see all your competition is there side by side, right? So to master Amazon and to really make a lot of sales on Amazon FBA and let them ship it for you and make that all on autopilot, you really need to have something that is great and something that solves a problem. And that is really in the unique selling proposition of your particular type of product and knowing exactly why you got it, how it's going to be better, why people are buying it. So there's a few things that we can do in this particular, segment to actually look to see whether or not or how we can actually change our particular product. So when we think about unique selling proposition, we're thinking, again, about how to make the product different, right? So there's a few examples here and I guess a few notes here. So one of the things that we can do differently is branding, right? So branding is a big thing. You can easily do it differently, but branding usually does take a lot more capital to get started in terms of doing that, right? You need to have a lot of really good graphic design, really good images. And usually when I'm talking about branding, I'm talking about something like this. And I'm going to show you a idea that someone had called Smart Suites, right? So this was an idea that I came across to show you as an example. So you can see the branding of Smart Suites. It's beautiful, right? Have a look. They've really and what they did was they really started focusing on, oops, there we go. Snap. All right, let me just refresh that. Okay, so what Smart Suites did was they was focusing on gummies, right? So their differentiation was we want all of our suites to be the gummy suites, and you can have a look at their branding so you can tell, so these are all Smart Suites there. You can definitely tell that they've actually spent a lot of money in doing that. Now let's go to their website. I want to show you how amazing their website is, and I'm going to tell you why I'm kind of going through this example. So have a look at their website. So this is what you would call differentiation through branding, right? Absolutely incredible what they did. Just absolutely amazing. They even have boxes. You can build your own box. They have the comparison between them and their competitors, right? So it's absolutely stunning. Then when you hover over the lollies, you get all this. This is exceptional branding, right? This business was started at home and it just sold for $380 million. Insane, right? Absolutely insane. That's how much they've just sold this business for. And it was started as an Amazon business, right? And obviously they had a lot of capital to put into this business. And it's all plant-based, gummies, lollies, but they basically wanted to differentiate through branding. That was the main point. And they also did a lot healthier options when it comes to lollies. So this is a brilliant example. I would recommend you guys really save this and just look at this and just the branding is just unbelievable, right? So this just sold, like I said, $380 million, and you can tell that the branding was just exceptional. So that's one way to differentiate a product through branding. Now, branding doesn't need to be this exceptional, right? So branding could be knowing who your customer avatar is, and that's something that we touched on last week. So for example, if you know you're targeting people who love gardening, who are over the age of, let's say, 70, then what you want to do when it comes to your branding is you want to make sure that if you know that's your target market, that your images are actually showing those people, right? Your actual demographic, right? You want to make sure that you're communicating like they would actually communicate, right? So that's another part of branding that you can actually implement. Doesn't cost you anything, right? So ensure that when you are starting to think about what your micro niche is going to be, who you're actually going to be targeting, to ensure that your part of your branding is sorted because you're actually speaking directly to that customer. So there's been many times where I would go on an Amazon listing, and let's say the Amazon listing is a toilet seat, because I'm going to show you guys something now. And then I'll see people in the actual images that aren't related to that product, right? That are not that particular demographic. So if you're selling kids' toilet seats, for example, like we do, and I'm going to show you now the product, then you want to ensure that you actually have kids in there, right? You want to have kids in there. You want to have the parents in there. You want to have the people buying the product. So you want to make sure that's done. And that's a really, really small way of ensuring that you're speaking to your ideal customer, right? Like they have here, they know that their demographic is this particular age. So if you look at all the people in here, they know that that's the person they're actually targeting, right? That particular age group, right? So it's probably between 19 to about 35 or something like that. So that's going to be their particular age group, right? So you'll see they have images of them. So make sure it matches. Make sure your content and your images match who you're actually targeting, and make sure it's throughout your images and your listing description, right? So that's a small little bit of branding.